that they are being bombarded and berated with so much batil, so much falsehood, so much nonsense about the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then they look at you. How are you showing up as a Muslim? Are you the most dependable, the most punctual, the most honest, the best attitude, a can-do mentality and attitude? Are you living the highest level of excellence that you possibly can in every single area of your life? Are you physically fit and disciplined? A person of strong core values, standards, and principles that you consistently live by every single day.
ولتكن منكم أمة يدعون إلى الخير ويأمرون بالمعروف وينهون عن المنكر.
Bismillah, walhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalam ala khayrin haqillah, Muhammad ibn Abdullah, salawatullahi wassalamu barakatuhu alayhi, wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam wa tasliman kathiran illa yawm ad-din. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. What is up, guys? I'm Josh. I'm the host of the Ultimate Muslim Podcast. Hope you're having a great day. Podcast kind of sounds like I'm from Boston, which I'm not. But dude, you might be thinking to yourself, man, firstly, this podcast, I know I'm all over the place right now, too much caffeine. Dude, the reason this podcast, the purpose of the podcast, it's for a place for men, Muslim men who absolutely despise mediocrity and demand excellence in all aspects of their life, inshallah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which means I really need to work on my intro and strive for excellence myself. Allahu mustan. With that being said, if you're a returning viewer or returning listener, you might be thinking to yourself, what is going on, dude? Why are you dropping more than one podcast in a week? Because I just dropped one today, actually. Well, yesterday for you. And the reason is because I have something on my mind. I've had something on my mind for quite a long time. And I've never really heard anyone else discuss this. Now, again, I also haven't listened to every single Islamic video there is on the planet. So it's a possibility that I missed it. But I did not think that I had the ability to make this as concise as possible where I could do it in under a minute. Because I drop reels every single day, shameless plug. I drop TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, etc. Every single day without fail, alhamdulillah, to get your mind right. So shameless plug there, Instagram, the real Josh Angel, or YouTube as well, Josh Angel. So with that being said, here's the topic, man. Here's what I want you to think about today, inshallah subhanahu wa ta'ala. First and foremost, as Muslims, we should have a certain level of humility, okay? We should have a certain level of humility when it comes to how we view ourselves in terms of knowledge and ignorance, okay? What I mean by that is this, is that we are much more ignorant than we are knowledgeable. That is reality. And so there is a certain extent that we should consider ourselves ignorant, because that's reality. There are so many things that we are ignorant of, and our knowledge pales in comparison to our ignorance. But with that being said, most of us work with non-Muslims, or most of us go to school with non-Muslims, or most of us have customers or vendors or suppliers who are non-Muslims. So whether you're a student, you work for someone else, you're self-employed, okay? Because the reason I'm saying that is because most of my audience is between the ages of 18 and 34 and are men. So you're either going to school, going to college, working for someone else, or you work for yourself. In all of those instances, it is highly, highly likely that you are the most knowledgeable when it comes to Allah. Regardless if you want to say that you're ignorant, regardless if you want to use the excuse, well, you know, Islam is perfect. I'm not, brother. Don't judge Islam by my actions. I'm not the best practicing, blah, blah, blah. You are the most knowledgeable compared to every single other person that you come in contact with on a daily basis. Again, whether it's students, whether it's coworkers, whether it's customers, whether it's employees that work for you, whether it's vendors and suppliers, if you're a businessman, it doesn't matter. This applies to everybody. You are the most knowledgeable of Allah. You are the most knowledgeable of the hereafter, what will take place on Yawm al-Qiyamah, what takes place in the grave, what takes place when the person dies. You know the most about what Allah loves and what Allah hates, what Allah Azza wa Jalla has made obligatory upon each and every single one of us. You have intimate, detailed knowledge of that information. So, that being said, how are you conducting yourself? Okay, how are you conducting yourself not as Abdullah, not as Muhammad, not as Abdul Wakil or Josh or Derek or anyone else, but as a Muslim? How are you conducting yourself? Because those people, the non Muslims, dude, they're getting bombarded every single day with propaganda. Hey, fear mongering, talking heads on the news and the media are bombarding these people with quote unquote misinformation because that's such a trendy word, right? And so they're going to look at number one what the media says. They're going to listen. They're going to hear it, regardless if they want to or not. They're going to hear it because it's just constantly pounded in their face 24/7. And then they're going to look at you. They're going to look at your actions, and they're going to say, "Do those two align? Is what I hear on the news and what this individual who claims to be a Muslim, who says that his religion is Al-Islam, do those two things align? Yes or no?" So there is no more excuse of, "I'm ignorant, brother. I'm not a very good Muslim. I'm not really deening right now. I'm not really on my deen, man. I'm kind of, my man as well." No, dude. You are the most knowledgeable of Allah, of His messenger, of what is expected of you and every single person that you come in contact with. You know that if they do not single out Allah alone, without partners, for their worship, and you know that if they don't do that worship according to the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, not according to your desires, what you think is best, what your sheikh says, what this person feels, they had a experience, quote unquote, that had euphoric, blah, blah, blah. No. They do it only according to the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. If they do not do those two things, then they will be the biggest losers on the day of judgment. Now, clearly says Allah Azza wa clearly says it in the Quran, where He says, بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم in Surah Al-Kahf, He says, قُلْ هَلْ نُنَبِّئُكُمْ بِالْأَخْسَرِينَ أَعْمَالًا الَّذِينَ ضَلَّ سَعْيُهُمْ فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا وَهُمْ يَحْسَبُونَ أَنَّهُمْ يُحْسِنُونَ صُنْعًا أُولَٰئِكَ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا بِآيَاتِ رَبِّهِمْ وَلِقَائِهِ فَحَبِطَتْ أَعْمَالُهُم فَلَا نُقِيمُ لَهُمْ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ وَزْنًا ذَلِكَ جَزَاؤُهُمْ جَهَنَّمُ بِمَا كَفَرُوا وَاتَّخَذُوا آيَاتِهِ وَرَسُولِهِ هُزُوًا. Allah Azza wa Jal, and this is scary, man. We should all think about this. Allah Azza wa Jal, He says, Qul, say, O Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, shall we not inform you of the greatest losers with respect to their deeds, with respect to what they do every day, what they did in this dunya? Should we not inform you of the greatest losers? It's those whose effort is lost in the worldly life while they think that they are doing well in the work. They are doing well in their work. They're doing the best, that they're on the straight path, that they're the rightly guided ones, that the decisions they're making on a daily basis is what's getting them closer to God, what's getting them closer to Allah, right? Or whatever. If they're atheists, they think that they're on the right path, that their efforts of promoting atheism or whatever, that they're on the right path, and what they're doing is the work that needs to be done. Those are the ones who disbelieve in the verses of the Lord and in their meeting with Him, so their deeds have become worthless, and we will not assign to them on the day of resurrection any weight whatsoever. Their deeds will be absolutely null and void, will have no weight whatsoever. That is their recompense, hell, for what they denied because they took my signs and my messengers in ridicule. Okay? So again, you know that. You know that they are looking at you. Number one, that they are being bombarded and berated with so much batil, so much falsehood, so much nonsense about the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then they look at you. So you have to step your game up, dude. How are you showing up as a Muslim? Are you the most dependable, the most punctual, the most honest, the best attitude, a can-do mentality and attitude? Are you living the highest level of excellence that you possibly can in every single area of your life? Are you physically fit and disciplined? A person of strong core values, standards, and principles that you consistently live by every single day? Because honestly, man, someone might argue, well, man, you don't have to be fit. You don't have to be strong. You don't have to be. Dude, that is one of the easiest indicators to see if you got your life in order. It's not the only indicator, not the only thing, but a person who is physically fit. I'm not saying you have to be some steroid jacked, you know what I'm saying, juice of the gills, bodybuilding dude. No, 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 no. But someone who's physically fit, you can tell that person takes care of themselves. That says something about that individual. That says something, that communicates something non-verbally. That if that person is in shape, that means that they have discipline, they have commitment, they're willing to commit to something for a very long time, right? That is difficult to do. They are consistent. They are able to make decisions not based on their feelings, but based on their commitments, i.e., the foods they put in their mouth. So they're going to look at you, man. They're going to look at you and they're going to tear you apart mentally. They're going to be like, let's see. Let's see. Is the news right? Because how I look at it personally, this is how I look at it, man. I say that the only quote unquote diss or criticism that anyone that you come in contact with, especially someone that you work with on a daily basis, or you're, you know what I'm saying, if you're a student or if you have customers or if you have employees or whatever that are non-Muslim, the only criticism that they should have of you should be baseless at best. And what I mean by that is that they criticize you because you don't celebrate Christmas. They criticize you because you don't dress up for Halloween, or you don't shake the opposite gender's hand, or you don't go to quote unquote happy hour with them after work and get totally wasted, right? And you don't jump in their boring, predictable conversations every day about, man, can't wait till 3 o'clock. It's almost time for a drink. You don't have those conversations. That's what they can say about you. Is Allah Azza wa Jal, He clearly says in Surah Al-Buruj, وَمَا نَقْمُوا مِنْهُمْ إِلَّا أَنْ يُؤْمِنُوا بِاللَّهِ الْعَزِيزِ الْحَمِيدِ. Basically, the only thing that they could say about the believers, the only thing they had against you was that you believed in Allah, the Almighty, the All Praiseworthy. They couldn't knock you for anything else. You had no chinks in your armor. You were hygienic from the Islamic standpoint, not from Western standards, from an Islamic standpoint, i.e., you don't shave your beard. Your beard is long, or your beard is whatever Allah has blessed you with. You're hygienic. You're punctual. You're dependable. You are a leader. You're a leader regardless of your title and your status and your position and your job description. You lead by example, regardless if you're on the very bottom of the quote unquote, ladder, or if you're a CEO or anywhere in between, right? The corporate ladder, wherever you fall. But you are a leader. You show up. You're on time every single day. You're punctual. You're prepared. You're dependable. When someone needs help, you're like, dude, we got this, man. We got a can-do attitude. We can problem solve this. No problem. We can handle this. We can get this done. And we're going to do it the best way we possibly can. We're not going to cut corners, right? We're going to do it the best of our ability. The only thing they should have against you is what I just mentioned. That's it. Because like I said at the beginning of this podcast, you are the most knowledgeable. Regardless if you want to accept that or not, regardless if you want to say, I'm ignorant, I'm this, I'm that, you are. We all are. But compared to the people that you are in constant contact with every single day, you are leaps and bounds, like night and day, like the East and the West, in terms of knowledge, in terms of what Allah loves, in terms of what Allah hates, in terms of what Allah has made obligatory on every single servant that walks this planet. You know it. You know what Tawheed is. You know how to implement Tawheed, inshallah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You know what shirk is. You know what happens if you die upon shirk, if you die upon disbelief. You know. So you need to step your game up, man. I think this is something that all of us need to reflect on, including myself, first and foremost, which alhamdulillah, I do every day. Well, alhamdulillah, is that, dude, I'm the most knowledgeable. Even if I'm ignorant, I'm the most knowledgeable at my workplace. And I guarantee, especially if you're someone who's a returning viewer, returning listener, yeah, you're definitely one of the most knowledgeable, inshallah, because you have a higher standard for yourself. You demand excellence from yourself. You are pushing yourself every single day to be better. So that's my message to you today. Clearly, I could not keep that concise, and clearly, I couldn't say that all in 1 minute reel. So I hope that that's been of some benefit to you, inshallah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Food for thought. Allah surely knows best. May Allah accept our deeds. May Allah give us ikhlas wa thabat ala sunnah. May Allah give us sincerity and steadfastness upon the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allahumma ameen. Allah surely knows best. If you got value from this, really quick, 2 things I always ask and 2 things only. Number 1, that you implement it. I don't run ads on the show. I don't run ads for the show. I don't try to bombard your ears with 20 minutes of ads trying to sell you stuff before I get into any actual content. So all I ask in return, if you're going to do anything, is implement it. Don't just listen passively. Don't just say, oh, mashallah, mashallah. That is really nice. And then never do anything with it. Do something with the content. Implement it. We need real strong believers more than ever. We need to be the example so that, inshallah azza wa jal, your example becomes infectious in a positive manner, in a positive way, where you help other Muslims and other people in general raise their standards of living and accountability and how they conduct themselves. So implement it. And number 2, if you got value, if you think this is a message that resonates with you and would resonate with other people, please share it with somebody. Share it with a brother. Share it with someone that you think will actually take the information and implement it by the permission of Allah. That's all I ask. Allah surely knows best. I hope you have a great day. As always, make today great. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
ولتكن منكم أمة يدعون إلى الخير ويأمرون بالمعروف وينهون عن المنكر وأولئك هم المفلحون.